Are you thinking about moving here but wondering what it's going to cost to live here each month? A lot of people hear Idaho is affordable, but when you break it down, you got your mortgage, your utilities, your groceries, the numbers might look a little different than expected. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through a realistic monthly cost of living here in the Boise, Idaho area so you can see if it actually fits your budget. We're going to be starting with the biggest expense, which is housing. For this example, I'm going to be using a pretty common and realistic price point that I see most buyers here, which is $500,000 to $600,000 range. So let's say you're buying a home for $550,000. So depending on your down payment, interest, and loan type, a rough monthly estimate for your monthly payment is somewhere between $3,000 and $3,500. Now, obviously, that can definitely vary. This obviously depends on your down payment, your interest. If the rates go higher, obviously, the more you put down, the lower it's going to be, and the higher interest goes, the higher it's going to be. But this is just giving you a realistic ballpark. Obviously, talk to a lender for a case-to-case basis. Now, how would I know all this information? Well, I'm a real estate agent here in the Treasure Valley area. Here's all my contacts. I talk to people every day from YouTube, and give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and let's get you going with your journey. So the second thing we're going to be talking about today is property taxes. One thing that surprises a lot of people is how low property taxes here are in Idaho. But of course, it still depends on the price of the home. So on a home that's roughly $550,000, you're going to be expecting to pay $2,500 to $4,000 in property taxes a year. Breaking it down, we're looking at $200 to $3,300 per month that you're going to be paying in property taxes. Now, with property taxes here, there's a lot of variable changes. Number one, they reassess it every year and you're paying based on that reassessed rate. So it can fluctuate quite a bit. And the second thing about property taxes is if the property is your primary residence, you can take off $125,000 off of your assessed value if you claim your if you file your homeowner's exemption form. So what that means is, let's say you bought a house for $500,000. Usually they assess it a little less. So in this example, we're going to say they assess it at $450,000 and you file your homeowner's exemption. That means you're going to be paying taxes based on $325,000, which is pretty amazing, right? So next up, we're going to be talking about utilities. Utilities usually range by the usage you do. I spend roughly $50 a month for internet. For water, sewer, and garbage, I spend roughly $150. I'm located in Nampa, 1.5 months, and sometimes it's 2 months. Then you have the irrigation, as low as $30 per year for irrigation, up to $150. However, if you think about it, even if you're paying $150 per month, it's not that bad because it has all of the outside water is covered in that irrigation. So that's really not that bad. Now, I don't want to tell you electricity and gas, but just note that I'm a relatively low consumer. Roughly, I spend $75 a month for electricity. Now, the $75 is on a range. So obviously in the summer, I'm going to be spending, $100, maybe $150. And in the winter, that bill is, $30, pretty non-existent. Now, groceries are the next expense that a person has. And Boise is pretty average on your grocery costs. So if you're coming from a higher cost of living place, it should be lower, but it's definitely not the cheapest and not the most expensive. Now, let's talk about gas. The Boise area, we're really dependent on our cars. So gas is something that you're going to need to consider unless you happen to live in downtown Boise and you're going to walk to work and walk to the grocery store. But other than that, you need a car. Obviously, gas costs can fluctuate. A couple of weeks ago, we were looking at $2.50, but now we are looking at $3.50 per gallon. Homeowner insurance is another thing. Most people pay somewhere between $70 to $150 per month. Of course, obviously this can change based on provider, carrier, and the specific home, and if you've ever had a claim. So all of those can adjust. So now we're going to break it down for you. So we're looking at our house is costing anywhere between $3,000 and $3,500. Property taxes a month, we're looking from $200 to $400. Utilities, looking 200 to 400 a month. Groceries, that is so hard to say. Realistically, probably 500 to 1,000 or more. It really depends on you and what you buy. Gas can cost anywhere from 150 to 300 a month. Insurance, we're looking at 75 to 150. So that puts you at 4,100 to 5,500 per month, depending on your home and lifestyle. So is Boise really affordable? That question honestly depends on where you're coming from. For some people that are relocating from higher cost states, Boise is going to look really affordable. For others, especially what Idaho used to be, it's going to be a more expensive place to live, and it could feel like prices are going up a bit. This is why it's very important to understand your monthly costs, because it's not just the home prices. It depends on what you're spending monthly. If you're thinking about moving to the Boise, Idaho area and trying to figure out what your budget would look like, feel free to reach out. Here's all my contact information. Shoot me a text, email, give me a call, and let's figure out your specific budget and needs. I work with a ton of relocation buyers, and I'm happy to help. And if you want more moving Idaho content, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!